Hey, what's going on, guys? CGOD back again today with some lowrider content for you. Today we are going to be slapping an alignment on the front of the Cadillac because, as you can see, we've got them 2-inch extended arms on there and the alignment's a little funky. So I have driven the car. I went, put some gas in it, whatever, and the steering wheel is slightly to the left, right? So keep that in mind. We are going to do it DIY style, as we always do. We've got camber plates, or not camber plates, but the toe plates, the 2 measuring tapes so we can measure it out. And I'll also probably try to grab a camber measurement just to make sure that one side is not more than the other. You know what I mean? Which, I don't know, you know? So that's what we're going to find out. But first things first, I'm going to go ahead and set up the plates. You basically just put one on either end, and you can see it's got slits. So those slits right there is how you run your measuring tapes across. And then one will go in the front of the tire and one will go in the back. You know what I mean? So one will be over here and one will be over here. And that'll give you your measurement of whether your car is towed out, towed in, or whatever types of issues you got. So let me set it up. So this is what it's looking like. You can see I got the toe plates on there, but the tuck is so extreme that I have to put the block there. So I'll just go ahead and show you. So that's what it looks like. And you can see the wheels kind of centered with the tapes, you know what I mean? Got the block up against it real nice, tight. So this is what our measurements are looking like. So in the front, we're reading at just about like 74.5 inches. And then for the rear measurement, it's right around 74 3/4, which means that our setup is towed in. So what I mean by that is, like, say you have 2 wheels, right? One right here and one right here. Whenever you have toe in, that means your wheels are like this and they're pointing towards each other in the front. You know what I mean? Toe out is the opposite of that. Your wheels will be trying to go away from each other as they're driving forward. So that is what kills the tires a lot with having a tuck like this, because your tires are basically just like getting sanded off as you drive because they're not going straight. So that's a big factor in how long your tires will last. Now obviously, you know, if you have hydraulics or whatever, your suspension goes up and down and it is going to change your toe. So I mean, it's best to just align it like this at your drive height where you normally drive it at. And then other than that, I mean, obviously I'm just going to do like a 0 toe setup. So my steering wheel was slightly to the left, and being that we are towed in, I'm going to go ahead and toe out that driver's side, I believe, or maybe this side, to get it to where the steering wheel is straight. Yeah, actually I think I have to tow this side out. So then towing this side out to the left will make our steering track have to go more to the right, thus straightening the steering wheel on the lack, in theory. So I'm going to go ahead, and this one, I believe it has the regular style suspension on it. So you can kind of see here. That tie rod there looks like it just has those 2 nuts, and then you turn it in or out and it'll extend your tie rods. And then from there you can align it again with the toe plates and see how it's all looking. So let me get to it. Alright, so continuing with the alignment, I've kind of got the toe where it should be. It still kind of pulls to the right. So what we're going to do next is a little test. So you could see on your phone. Well, hold on. Let me see if I'll be able to show you guys. Okay, so you could see I have what's called like the level app on my phone, right? So you could see the numbers there. You know what I mean? So whenever you set this up on the wheel, you could see we're getting 11 degrees, right? So 11 degrees of positive camber. And then whenever we come over to this side, hopefully you guys could still see it.
this side is only 8 degrees. You know what I mean? So what that means, gentlemen, if you want to have your car like highway ready, actually drive it and whatnot, adjusting the camber to make it even is part of the alignment, right? So this side, we can't extend it out more to match that side, but we can shim this side up. So basically your control arm has 2 bolts that mount it to the frame. You can add shims in between the arm and the frame to move your control arm back, right? So I also did a measurement of the gaps, right? So there's a gap here between the car and the tire, as well as here. So this side is just a little bit off from the other side. So this side needs to come forward a little bit, and I believe that is referred to as caster, right? So we want the car to drive as well as it can. So we're gonna adjust it to bring this wheel slightly forward and more in, and then we'll have to align the toe again. But we want to get the camber the same, because having 11 degrees over here and 8 degrees over there is a no-no, right? 3 degrees, but it definitely does make a difference, and you'll never be able to get the alignment good. So I'm going to go ahead and pull her back into the garage, and I'll show you guys how to shim it up, all right? All right, so back in the garage, you could see here's where the control arm bolts, right? So the control arm is the dog bone portion right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to loosen these up, and the control arm will move back, and we'll be able to insert the shims, right? So here is what the shims look like. So obviously something is up. I do believe these are factory. I'm not 100% for sure. If you guys want to let me know in the comments. But the car had a whole bunch on that driver's side, right? So I'm assuming that's why, you know, it's like a little bit tweaked, because nothing's perfect. The arms may or may not be perfect. Somebody did cut them up and weld them. But basically what we're going to do right now, we have these shims. I have 5 of them. And what I'm going to do to be able to correct the caster, because like I was telling you guys, this wheel needs to move forward in the wheel well just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and put 3 shims right here on the front side and only 2 in the back. So it's going to pivot our control arm ever so slightly. And hopefully, you know, it's close. But basically what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to just loosen them. You know what I mean? Put a wrench on the back and loosen them and see if it'll be possible to put these in without taking the whole car apart. All right? All right, guys. So may or may not be the proper way to do it. But I legit, like, I didn't even jack the car up. I just reached in here, started loosening up the nuts. So you could see how it kind of created this gap here. And the car, weight of the car being on it is pushing on the arm back. So right now, I was basically just adjusting it. And then I was checking with the little phone gauge. You know what I mean? The little camber gauge. And I got them both equal now. It says 9 degrees, which I don't really know. I don't even know if the floor is level, but it's got to be better than it was. So I'm going to stuff some shims in there, and then we'll tighten it back down, and we'll see how it's doing afterwards. But I mean, it didn't take away too much. It was, you know, 2 or 3 degrees at the max, so not too shabby. Let me get the shims in there, and I'll show you guys how that's done. Well, if anything, I might just show you how it's done right now. So there is a little like flat side. So I think my original calculations were correct. I don't know if you guys could see. Sorry, I was kind of just going at it. But shim, and it just literally goes over. You know what I mean? So then what I was going to do is I'm going to have to loosen that one up a tad bit more. Probably both sides. Loosen them both up. And I want to put 3 here and just 2 over there. And we'll see how that does. All right, guys? So this is what it looks like. See, we got them shims. See that? And those 2 over there. Got it all shimmed up now. It's reading 9 degrees
on my Apple iPhone on both sides now. And with the extra shim in the front, it tilted us forward. And we are now getting 6-inch on both sides from the back of the tire to the back of the fender. And 4-inch on the front on both sides. So now we're going to take it for a test drive. And to finish it off, we're going to put the plates on it again just to make sure we have it somewhat close. Alright, so now that we made a couple of adjustments to the front camber, caster and whatnot, it appears that it threw off our alignment just a hair. So now you could see on this side, maybe you could see it's slightly under 75 inches and the front is slightly over 75 inches. I don't know where the focus point is, but just know that's where it's at, which means that we are now towed out. So I'm going to go ahead and tow this side in ever so slightly, because while driving the steering wheel is still kind of to the left. So by towing this side in, it'll make the straightness go to the right a little bit. So I'm going to try and do that while retaining the boards. That way I can kind of do it like in real time, you know, make little adjustments, come and check. And I feel like that would be the proper way. So this is just an eyeball at-home alignment, guys. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to take it to an alignment shop or whatever, then it is what it is. But that would probably be your best bet if they were willing to align it, being that they have machines that would, you know, be able to calculate all these things that we're doing ghetto. So I'm going to try to adjust it anyways, though. I'm trying to make it to the Cinco de Mayo parade. So, yeah. Okay, so for the final time, went ahead and adjusted that tie rod like we said. So check her out. That's the back measurement. So it's like 75 1/4 almost. And this is the front one. Also like 75 1/4 almost. It's literally like perfect. Kind of hard to show you guys, but the measurement is exactly the same front and rear, so it should be good. I'm going to go ahead and test drive it. We'll see what happens. Alright, so we're back up in the garage. After aligning the toe and adding the shims, it drives a lot better. Still has a slight pull to the right. Like if you let go of the wheel, you know, the car will start just going to the right. But as of right now, that's what it's going to be. She's somewhat ready for the parade tomorrow. So, Thug Life, boys, we're going to send it. Hopefully you guys learned a little something. Just a little bit. Like I said, this is just kind of like an at-home DIY type deal. Definitely, I mean, if you're riding, like for real, and you're three-wheeling and all that good stuff, then it's not going to matter too much. But from personal experience, I like whenever the car drives decent. At least decent, you know what I mean? Like I've had cars where like you're hitting switches and then the car's like, you know, it's just going wherever it wants. So hopefully it does decent. It doesn't even have switches. I was just trying to align it because I got them arms, baby. But hopefully you guys like the content, babe. Go ahead and hit me with that like. Hit me with that subscribe. Y'all know what it is. Comment what you guys think. Some at-home stuff for sure. You know what I mean? As you can see, we are at home. So preferably get an actual alignment if you want your car to ride nice. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Lots of stuff going on. But, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Love y'all, man. Make sure to catch me in the next one. I'm out, guys. Later.